Greetings. So I won't even wait for people to join the live. I will just go in and just start. So maybe I should even do a bit of an update. It's been a while since I came and did the live. So yesterday, what happened to me was I filmed the video on marriage as an institution. I was so happy. It even had to be one of my best videos yet. Okay? It had to be one of my best videos yet. So I was excited. It was past midnight. It was loading. I had uploaded it to YouTube, ready to share the link. So what I do is when I film the video and I edit it, I send it to YouTube, go back to the application and cut out clips to share for WhatsApp and Facebook and Instagram as well and TikTok. So Genius Fupe then decided that she will delete the raw data to save space on her device because, new content creator, no equipment, you want to save some space on your phone to make room for new content. Long story short, I deleted my really awesome video together with the raw content. That is how I do not have the video uploaded. So I was very confused last night when I went back to YouTube and I saw it say there was an error and it couldn't upload. And I'm like, what's going on? Is YouTube doing the Facebook thing as well? But anyway, when I went back into my gallery, I found, lo and behold, um, I deleted the video. So anyway, yeah, I slept at 1 a.m. after like tons and tons of work, and that's how I lost that video. So anyway, that's that. So I decided I will do a live instead, and I hope I will remember a lot of what I said about marriage being an institution yesterday, and I hope I can still share with as much and vigor as I did yesterday. And as you know, I love marriage. But anyway, quick update since the last time I was here. We fixed the teeth. This is what they look like. I'm still not sure how I feel about them. So I did go and they fitted them in. And what happened at the dentist when I went, what they didn't tell me was I'd have to learn to talk again. I mean, not as extreme, like I can't talk anymore, but I'm still learning how to talk with my new teeth because apparently my brain doesn't know them. And the first few weeks were a bit weird. So I'm still adjusting to them. Yeah. So the new teeth are in, yay. And yeah, so I'm still learning to eat. Even chewing was a bit of an issue, still is. Yeah, I'm still learning to talk. And sometimes I'm always like, what's that in my mouth? It's still a weird feeling. It's like there's a foreign object, but I did some research. So apparently, dentists won't counsel you for the changes you will experience when you get new teeth, but you have to do some research on your own. So yeah, the teeth are in, and that's all there is to say. It's been a weird experience. It's been strange. I thought after this experience I might be able to fix the top two sharp ones, but after this I'm just like, no thanks, we'll stick with the natural teeth. And yeah, we'll work with what we've been given. Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about them yet. Maybe I'll get excited about them in the future, I don't know. But it's been over a month now, but like I have said, still learning to talk. Yeah. So let's get into my topic for tonight, which is marriage as an institution. So the purpose of this video is to see marriage. So a threefold cord. Let's just start where I began, or where I would begin if I was shooting the video, which would be a threefold cord is a show that is aimed at helping couples build spiritual intimacy in their home, and hopefully we can build strong couples that stay together. I strongly believe that God is as much a part of our marriages as, for instance, my husband and I are. So I don't believe that marriage is between husband and wife. I 100% believe that marriage is husband, wife, and God. And a lot of the challenges we face in the marriages that we have is because a lot of the time in the context of the home we have taken out God. Okay. And so the purpose of the threefold cord is to try and ensure that we bring back God into the home as an equal partner. In fact, not even equal, as a lead partner in the institution of marriage. So when we think about institutions, we can think of, I don't know, they can be educational, they can be governmental, they can be like I say, it's just educational, governmental, religious, right? So we can think of schools and things like that. So when you think of an institution, you think of systems, right? They all have a mandate of why they do what they do. So if you have, for instance, using the context which is familiar to me, if an institution is set up for nutrition, again, context that is familiar to me, you will have, for instance, an act that sets it up, a law that sets it up, or you have a gazette that sets up that institution. And in that law, in that gazette, you will find the mandate and what it is that they're supposed to do. So whenever you assign them to do something, or whenever they have an activity or something they're supposed to be doing, they always go back to that law that establishes them, or that document that establishes them, for them to know what they need to be doing. And marriage is an institution similar to that. So marriage is and was God's idea. So I subscribe to the school of thought of the oneness of the one flesh union, where it's one woman, one man, the two become one flesh. And yeah, that's the school of thought I subscribe to as far as marriage is concerned. And I draw this from Genesis, when God created man and he created woman and he put them together. This is bone of my bone, this is flesh of my, and he called her woman. That's the school of thought I subscribe to as far as marriage is concerned. So marriage is the foundational institution. The home is the foundational institution of society as we know it, right? So the question is, not the question. So we always have to go back to what the original intention was. What does the Word of God say about marriage and about this institution? And the first place with marriage that we always have to begin at is before the marriage itself. We don't begin with marriage in the union and at the altar. We begin with the systems that we put in place before the marriage begins. The person you choose and whatnot, right? So one of the things that is essential to the institution of marriage is premarital counseling. I cannot overstate the importance of premarital counseling. And the purpose of premarital counseling is not to ensure that no matter what, you should get married because you're engaged. The importance of premarital counseling is to help us even actually decide if you should be getting married in the first place, right? Is this the person you should be marrying? And in premarital counseling, they ask you searching questions. What are simple things, like I had said in that brief video, about why do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married to this particular person? For us, I remember even being asked, what is your favorite Bible verse? What is the foundational verse for your life? What is your mission? What is your mission? And how do those meet? And where are you going? How are you going to serve together as a couple? So there's so many searching questions that help you not only discover who you are as a person in relation to what the marriage will be, but also it helps you discover your significant other in light of the institution that you're getting into. And honest to God, a lot of us get into marriage even because we're so excited about the wedding, we're so excited that now you're off the market. And because I mostly talk to women in their 30s, and at least that's my target audience. We get into that space where, you know what, I've waited, this same guy, I'm going to marry him because he's here. We're in that space where, look, there's nothing you're going to tell me in premarital counseling. I'm just going to marry this guy anyway. But the essential part of premarital counseling is for you to vet the person and to vet yourself for this institution that you're about to enter into. And I always say, especially on this platform, whatever you do, try to walk to the altar, try to walk down the aisle sober minded, not just high on infatuation, because ultimately it's not strong enough to keep you together. When children come, you clash. When bills come, you clash. You need something more solid to hold you together for when feelings are not enough. And premarital counseling helps you to see that. But a lot of us are getting into marriage, and because we're excited, we're not even taking down notes, we're not even paying attention. It's like you're just checking a list for what you're doing. But I have to emphasize that premarital counseling is an essential element of the marriage union. So that's point number one. So another thing that premarital counseling helps you set up as a second point to that is, what are your values? Now, let's say you're in the institution of marriage, you've been counseled, you've had a beautiful wedding or not, you've gotten married anyway, you're in your home. The question is, what are your values? What are the things that define your home? Who are you as a couple? Who are you as an institution? When I began this conversation, I was talking about the importance of the mandate. When an organization and institution is set up, they have, if it's a project, they have these documents that say these are the indicators, these are the outcomes we hope to see. What does that look like for your home? Other institutions have constitutions. I mean, obviously we don't have a constitution in our home, but a representation of that is the values you have in your home. Who are you as a couple? When we talk about faithfulness, is faithfulness an essential part? Is that a value in your home as a couple? And so I shared here that Moses and I binge watched Young, Famous, and African. I don't know if it's Young, African, and Famous. And one of the most awkward scenes was when they're out at the restaurant, and Two-Face and Two-Face is talking about how, as a man, when the age comes, it's not even about love. He can sleep with anyone, and it's just in a man's nature. Yo, I think it's the most awkward thing I have seen all year. But that speaks to values, right? What are your values? So if you marry someone who believes that, you cannot love them, you cannot love them out of that. So if they believe this is my nature as a man, and they don't believe the biblical foundation of marriage is one man, one woman, and the purpose of this is to sanctify us, the purpose of this is to grow us, the purpose of our marriage is for kingdom, and the purpose of our marriage is to honor God. And if someone holds that value, that is what they will keep carrying on. I always say, when you marry someone, don't marry them for who you hope they will become. Marry them for who they are, so that if they become better, you celebrate. Every one of us has potential, but you can't will someone into becoming what their potential is. And yeah, that's a very important point. Understanding the mandate. When God gave us marriage, what was it for? And is your marriage based on the standard of the word? Do you draw your values from the word? And the word constitutes the mandate, and God gave it, and that's what we use. So premarital counseling, values. So the importance of church, again, spiritual growth. This is for Christian couples, this conversation of the threefold cord. The church. So the church and community, I'll break it down in three parts as essential parts of marriage as an institution. We begin with the church. The church is a very important body, at least for me, and especially that we're pursuing spiritual growth and living and having God take his rightful place in the union of marriage. The church is a place where you have elders. When you do premarital counseling, like I have already established to people, we are often not paying attention. Even when we're supposed to be quitting on a marriage, many people are in marriages they had no business entering in the first place, but they're already there. But belonging to the body of Christ means you have this community of people who you can be accountable to. And because the church is also an institution, you have a sort of hierarchy leadership, and you can always go back there for post-marital counseling. And I have been saying in the last few weeks just how amazed I am at the systems that Miracle Life has in place for marriages, for men, for women, for children, for youth. I've been learning what they do, and I've just been like, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And a lot of churches can learn from them. And that's what I mean when I say the church is an important part of our marriages. Marriage is private and it's between three of us, you, God, and like God, my husband, and I. But marriage should not be done in isolation, because you are human beings, we are human beings, we are prone to wonder, we offend each other, and sometimes we can be subjective in the union of marriage, and we all need to go back to someone who is mature, who is level-headed, who has gone before us to help us walk the journey of life. And that's what the church does for you. It is a place where you can serve together. It is a place where you can grow together. There are many facets of marriage that fail because couples are not doing things well. I learned something from Munyumba this evening during our book club meeting, and we're looking at how to win and influence people. And he was just talking about when he's conducting financial advisory sessions, he advises his couples about doing stuff together. You have team building in your place of work, and you know that is essential to the place of work. But this is the greatest teammate that you have: your husband, your wife, and God. These are your closest teammates, and in the grand scheme of things, that's what counts for the most. So when you go to church and you serve together, that's part of team building. You're able to see your spouse in different spaces. It gives you opportunities to appreciate them for things. And while we're on team building, we're talking about do some holidays, hang out, do some nice things for each other. So church is a place where you can serve. Church is a place where you can find people to hold you accountable. Church is community. It's the place where you can, when you have children, you know that you have family that you can trust, that can help you raise your kids. I still strongly believe in the fact that children are raised in community. We don't just raise them as parents on our own. The next one that I think is an essential part to the union of marriage, the institution of marriage, is family. So my husband and I are the nuclear family, right? Everyone who is in here, that's our nuclear family. But there's also the importance of the extended family. And a lot of us in this generation, I notice it's not the way it used to be back in the day. In our home, we grew up around a lot of extended family. People showed up as and when they dreamed, and sometimes it was awkward and weird. But what that did is it helped us know our families, where we're coming from. It helped us understand our history, and we could learn more. We could learn more if we're more intentional about it, but that is very important, right? And a long time ago, and today the preacher in church was preaching about how he literally preached from Luke and from a genealogy and why that was important, which was weird because that's what I talked about yesterday, and the importance of history and extended family. How a long time ago, before you get married, they would look into the family. What diseases do they have? Do they have money? Do they have what? Do they have a lot of divorces? And they would vet your marriage partner based on that history, right? But thank God for grace and enlightenment and whatever, and we're all free to make our choices. But I always say, as with everything, don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. So even if you decide to get married to someone who is in a family where divorce happens a lot, the question is, oh, great, now you have that information. How can you guard your home against that? Is it through prayer? Can you study the patterns that happen so that you can avoid them, right? So history is important, but I see that we're in a generation now where we have no link to our extended family. If I say I'm from Luapula and you throw me in Luapula right now, I would not even know which name to mention or whose home to go to, because why? I don't know my family. But family is important because of that historical component. And incest is a thing, even against the laws of Zambia. You want to ensure that, children are not marrying each other. That's also another advantage, even though now the world looks like it's going south, and that won't be an issue. Disturbing. Yeah. And the next essential part of the institution of marriage, as I believe, would be friends, right? In the context of marriage, things get weird, right? Especially if I'm just coming from family. So there's certain things that can happen between my husband and I that I cannot share with my family, and he cannot share with his family because of their emotional connection to us. We are blood relatives. So if he vilifies me to his relatives, or I vilify him to my side of the family, it can become really awkward really quickly. And that's where friends come in. Because if you have true, mature friends, they are able to help you be objective when you are facing problems. And friends also stem out of the context of the church. So a lot of my friends stem out of the Christian context. So for me, whether it was university, it was usually like a Christian context thing, and that's how it has worked over time. So when you have mature friends, mature Christians, you can go back to them and be honest and bare. And it's important to have people who can interfere in your marriage in a healthy way, to point to you when you're being wrong. Or if you find yourself in an abusive situation, you have someone who you can go to and say, this is what I'm experiencing. Is this okay? And it's just important even to have people to have fun with. There are some people who, yesterday I shared a video right here about the paradox effect, about a very clingy partner, right? If you have a very clingy partner, you can see that video and it will help you sort that out. But in those situations where you foster relationships with other people, you get a breather from if you have a clingy partner, you get a breather from your partner, because now they don't need to cling on to you so much, because they have other people with whom they can talk to and whom they can hang out, and you don't have to be their only friend. And a reverse of that also is, if you have an unavailable partner, someone who is just not there for you, and you don't have a friendship, when you foster relationships in community, it means you get an opportunity to speak to your partner, spend time with them, and grow with them. So this is not an exhaustive list of what I think the institution of marriage. I'm not like setting these are the pillars for the institution of marriage, but this was the goal of this video, was bring to the fore the fact that the way you look at, for instance, your space of work, the way you look at how church functions, the way you look at how the government functions, there's a mandate, there's systems of accountability, there's ways children in that institution will be raised. It's about being intentional. But for the Christian couple, it's about going back to the word. So what is the mandate? Yes, this is a kingdom marriage. Yes, we are Christians, but in the sphere of our influence, what will our marriage do? What have we decided is our mission? Are we serving orphans and widows? Are we giving people scholarships in the education space? How are we doing marriage in a kingdom sense, right? And again, what does the word say? What does the word say about headship? What does it say about submission? What does it say about parenting? And how are you as an individual performing your part in that? I think it was the last episode of A Threefold Cord when I talked about how is the man expected to function in his office as husband, and we talked about the 4 P's: provider, protector, priest, and prophet, right? And that's the husband's office. But what about you as a wife as well? What is your function in submission? What is your function in homemaking? and how are you coming along as a suitable helpmate? I don't know why I have struggled so much to to do the video on the role of the wife, but also I just think that at the right time it will come, and I don't like to force it. At the right time it will come and I'll do it. And right now the heart was sent to look at your marriage as an institution. What are those systems in place? And what do you need to do now? And a lot of the times when we think about, oh, it's an institution, we have this big mandate and we need to do what and what, start small within your sphere of influence. Do share with me in the comment section what you think are other essential parts of the institution of marriage, who should be involved, what systems need to be set up so that we can learn and grow together. So yeah, thank you. Like I said in the beginning, the video got deleted, so I just said I'm overdue for a live anyway. Might as well do this, but yeah, this one will go to YouTube as well, and and we can find it there. So thank you so much, Ishmael and V. Thank you so much for joining me. It was good to have you in the club meeting earlier, and I hope you get well soon. So thank you, everyone. You all have a good night and a great week ahead. This has been your friend Rupe, the Mindpreneur. Until the next one, bye.